Everybody wants to show you how they believe in their God and why they believe in their God and why that's the true God. The whole time they're just showing you that vampires, werewolves, they exist and they believe that they're gods. People are always saying, who run the world? And they're like, gays. And it's just like, girls don't run the world, gays don't run the world. A group of people don't run the world. It's the ones that infiltrate all the groups, all the communities. They don't look a particular way. They don't act a particular way. Pedophiles run the world, friends. And the thing about it is, people keep trying to put pedophiles in the category of gays and others because of the word other. And this is why words meaning things has tripped generations up like cursive has always. I'm not gay, I just do sexual activity with homosexual partners or homosexual sexual experiences, but I don't claim it. If I say the sun rises in the west, then it does. If I claim that my attraction that is not to the opposite gender, that is not to geographic, what do you call it? Chronological age differences that are reasonable to development of the human brain. If I refuse to acknowledge development, I'm just different, right? Who run the world? Because I have, in my last 32 years of living, have never not seen so many adults continuously express how they feel like they're not adults. And so many kids not even understand what childhood is. And like this social performative, I'm sounding like my sister, this social performative behavior we do to fit in and to get what we want out of society. And a lot of it is prostituting yourself. Or at least like, oh, they create prisons to go behind how the school system is. They create social dynamics to be pimps and whores. And to make sure that it goes as smoothly as possible, where they don't even know, is to create this world before you're an adult. So you never got a chance to see what actually was supposed to be. You have no concept of comparison. And I hate comparing things because I feel like, I was always told, like, if you've seen what a real $100 bill looks like, you're not confused about the fake ones. So a lot of the comparison, I realized, is between two counterfeits. If you've seen a real one, you wouldn't question if it was a counterfeit or how it doesn't quite feel right. A counterfeit does not care. They need you to take 0.5 seconds to believe what they are selling you, and you to hand over your whatever they value out of the lie to be gained. And then whatever comes out of it afterwards is what comes out of it afterwards. You do not care if the truth comes out, the lie gets diminished. Was the goal accomplished? It's always the question. And that's how you know what level of evil you're dealing with. Do you want people to just not be found out? Do you want to look at people and laugh that you know something they don't know? Or are you so unbothered by doing the thing that was told to you, or maybe you've even seen as awful, rewired in your brain as power, control, dynamic, all this stuff, that it doesn't matter if you get caught. It doesn't matter if people know about the things you do and the type of person you are. All that matters is the control. Because who's gonna stop me? Who's gonna check me? That's really the most evil kind of person. Who's gonna check me? So you know you're doing evil. You know you're hurting people. You know that you are lying to get your way, which is weak. Like, you be weak. And yet, once it all comes out in history, you know, it was on y'all. It was on y'all. So the real kind of evil is the ones that leave room for any shadow of a doubt to be squashed. Because they said, I'm 10 toes in this shit. And I'm laughing, but I really feel like that's the part that needs to be 100% respected. They are so willing to go down with their ship. Ain't no music beat, ain't no violins, ain't no women and children first. The least amount of lifeboats, the least amount of people on those boats, the more people in the water, it's more success for them. To who? Who cares? We all die when it's over. We all don't exist anymore. Great job. You're just as dumb as you're mad that everybody else is. You're more dumb than what you're mad that everybody else is. It's really concerning. And I'm not that fucking smart. I don't think I am. But I think realizing that you're not fucking smart is pretty fucking smart. And realizing that true wisdom isn't a accomplishment. It's like a state of existence. Then all of that heavy brain power to not care. Big brains just so you don't have to care. Sounds like a tumor. God really said, put childish things away. And this motherfucker said, you know what we're going to do? We're going to give the children the adult things so that they hate it. And then we're going to make the adults not be developed emotionally in any way, so that when they become adults, they are angry and bitter enough to take over the child that already thinks they're an adult and tell them that it should have been them. If only I could use you like a clone, or like a twin, or like a robot, where I could think thoughts and you could do them. So this is why I thought the potential of me actually doing my little networking stunt on Facebook might have actually worked. Besides that, there's a lot of my commentary from like the conversations somehow like getting into the public spaces of this what is it you call it, a teens like promotional stuff, and like some of the songs, like I always say it's not good to be put in a song, but if some of your ideas are put into a song, it's not the worst thing. But also like permission and like, hey, I'm gonna do this because you inspired me, like out loud. It's nice. But anyway, so we're literally you know, over the course of like what, March till what time was it? June, when all of the shit hit the fan. So about March to June, I was so I'm seeing reflections everywhere, and I can't fucking see if it's a water droplet or if it's some car coming directly at me. But okay, so I had invested some money into paying my own bills. I had dumped that dude from being co-parent. I was in the process mentally of being like, okay, how do I get this man out of my life permanently? all these things. And I had been, like I said, interacting with these pages for a long time, and went to the concert. Felt like I wasn't, let me be clear, I'm a little bit like, F it, this ain't real. I had decided, and I had put it when I was typing all this stuff to this fan page, I was like, you're most likely never going to see this, but I'm going to start doing this for myself. Like, having a daily something to share my thoughts to, especially if you're not real, that makes it a lot easier. Like, this is just some, like, this is before Chat GPT. This is some type of, like, bot, let me just say that. And so I just was every day, like, kind of trying to be consistent with, like, the creativity. And on the other side of it too, I just felt like, wow, I really am finding, like, me being comfortable in this space of, like, not so much like everyone else is uncomfortable, but it's like the things that make me uncomfortable because I can never speak on them are finally having space to be talked on or spoken about. So I had kind of in my mind, I'm like, there's no, like, documentation, paperwork. I don't even know if I'm really talking to this person. Every single person I've mentioned, besides literally 2 people that I actually still talk to today, you know who you are, had any faith that this was even possible. And I'm not saying faith like this is some amazing thing, but I mean just like the odds are so fucking unlikely. And then, when you get a bunch of backlash of, like, you think you're somebody special, you think that you're cute just because you're this and that, it's like, yes, the exact reactions I expected, yes. But the thing that got me was like, okay, this gotta be real, is because when the same way that I had been approached by the fan page, because mind you, I had been approached by the fan page. I didn't reach out to a fan page. When the fan page approached me, they literally were like, hey, we work with Bitcoin companies to help regular people purchase and sell Bitcoins and make profit, and we can help you, and my team is working with, just so when I reacted with the page, it was like officially random person reaching out, helps people with money. I'm in this position, and I think I had posted on Facebook a couple of times how I started working with, like, a maid service, and was doing Ubering and stuff. I don't know if I even said that, but the point is I was multifaceted in my paycheck. And so when they reached out to me, I figured it was somebody from the quote-unquote team doing it the way that they can, because they never quote-unquote hired me, but they also took ideas from me, so they're just trying to make it right. So in my mind, I was like, well, that's the only way I would figure this out, function with it, is if it's from the original page I was interacting with. And so they didn't tell me what the company was that they're working through, but basically every time they set a scenario of, like, this is how it works. Once we, just how scams work, once you get to the end, they're like, oh, we need more. Oh, we need this. Oh, we need that. Oh, da da da. And so it got to a point where I'm like, even if you are real, you're just scamming me. So it's a little bit jumbled up. But prior to me even going to the concert, like me just starting to reach out to the pages and stuff, I had gotten scammed. I'm gonna do a short list of scams one day so you can see all the ways I've been dumb. But I was scammed out of my Instagram page. My dumbass was like, oh, this person's gonna help me get more, I think it was like something about like notoriety or some type of, like, more people are gonna visit. I don't know what the point of me saying, okay, let's work with this person, but basically I paid this person like $27 for them to steal my Instagram page. And I was like, damn, I was so mad, right? And then I realized, I was like, wait, this person might, I mean, regardless of their intention, this might be, it gave me the idea, like, maybe this is closer to reality, because why am I getting scammed out of my Instagram page? In the 7 years I've had it, this never happened. And now I'm sitting here, like, 2 months into trying to, like, get this entertainer's attention, and I got scammed out of my personal Instagram. This is so random, but I just remembered, probably because I'm going through right now with, like, my medical problems, like, why am I passing out so easily? Blah, blah, blah. I've been taking sertraline. Sertraline be with my blood pressure. Like, I lost it last week, so I've been taking it for almost a week. And let me tell you something. That shit be making me want to pass out. You know, you just want... One time I had taken some oxycodone. Not because I was with friends. It's because my grandmother had stage 4 cancer. And I had gotten my wisdom teeth taken out. And I didn't have any medicine. She's like, take half of one. That motherfucker was 200 milligrams. Taking half of the pill. Should have been a crumb of that pill. Excuse me. It should have been a crumb of that pill. Anyway. So I took the medicine. And as soon as it kicked in, I was like, la la la. And they talking about a fentanyl falling or whatever they call it. Let me tell you something. That oxycodone had me stuck for like 10 minutes. And I just was aware of it. Like, why can't I move? The weirdest thing. Fast forward, taking the sertraline. I realize when I'm walking and it hits that whatever my brain is expecting from the medicine and it doesn't hit, my whole blood pressure drops. And I'm not even having anxiety. Nothing's happened besides my body working as it's supposed to. And then you don't have sertraline. And it's like, am I still awake? I didn't pass out. Like, I'm on the verge so easily. So the fact that I passed out the last week before I passed out just from being sick, that makes more sense now. So I had gone through deciding that I didn't need sertraline because I was tired of feeling like I wasn't engaging in the things around me. Things were just happening and I was just having to react to stuff. Like, I had no input, I felt like. And so and I say that in the sense of, like, you don't know that with the words, but you feel it, right? And at first I was thinking to myself, oh, it's because I don't wake up in a panic. I don't wake up with my heart racing every morning. It's been, at least the goal was to do it for whatever milligrams that you are taking, to take it, I forget the time frame, but a certain amount of time. And then if you have symptoms for a certain amount of time if you don't have symptoms for a certain amount of time with the medicine, then you can get off of it. And so that's basically what happened, except for instead of me being like, hey, I'm done, can we start lowering the dose, I had just cold turkeyed it. And I was at 150 milligrams at the time. So it was a good 2 weeks of that, like, physically dropping. So I didn't feel very good for 2 weeks. And then, but I felt, as far as emotions and stuff, I felt pretty damn, I have control. Like, I'm not out of my body. I'm not confused about why I can't remember what I'm talking about. Like, or I'm not confused about why I can't, go into, like, solving problems. I'm just like, okay to everything. So I had realized after, like, the 2 weeks of, like, my blood pressure going up and down, and, like, I think that's really when it hit me, like, F that dude. Like, I've been wasting so much time and energy trying to not be the problem and not be the reason you can't do, and come to find out it had nothing to do with any of that, and it had everything to do with you just thinking, this might not be my baby, but I'm gonna torture her because she should have known. I don't know what you want, but you want your cake and eating it too. That's what I think we're here for, and we're not. But anyway, so that's when I, like, it all really hit me, like, the last 2 years and what had been happening, and how, like, I've been putting up with that mother, like, I just been putting up with him. And so excuse me, I had realized he needs to go. And I had, like, kind of built it up in my mind how to have this conversation with him, because obviously I'm not the type to just cold turkey. You know where I live, you have my key, I need to get it back. Like, I'm not trying to make it so that you feel like I lie. Like, basically the same mentality of, like, all the reasons to not let you have an excuse oh, I'm the reason you weren't a good dad. I'm not gonna be like, oh, I'm the reason that you couldn't understand what happened. She didn't explain anything. She just did it, kind of energy. Like, no, that's exactly the opposite of that. And so it's like slowly but surely trying to have this conversation with him. Like, I'm not gonna be out here rushing anything because I want it to be clear what I'm doing. Like, I had did all this blog or all this on other people's pages and stuff. I told him I was doing that. I said, if this happens to be real, if this turns out to be true, I even asked my brother, and his reaction, don't get upset. Or what did he say? Don't get obsessed. That's what he said. Don't be obsessed. Just be, weary. Like, you don't want to put too much energy of anything, of yourself into anything, because you never know, like, what you want to accomplish and what you think the answer is to accomplish it might not be. So just like kind of thing. And then another friend was like, I mean, the odds aren't impossible and it makes sense. Just make sure you're safe. And then there was another person who was like, I mean, I don't see why they wouldn't. That sounds like something a dude would do, just like understanding the possibility. So I told him too, and he was just like, oh, well, I mean, if it happens, then it happens. Like, he didn't really have a response. And he's the type of person where he doesn't talk a lot. He keeps stuff inside. He tries to observe. He's a prison nigga. And I say that really, like, not everyone's like that, but the type of person I'm talking about when I say that, where you go into a room, you observe everybody, you don't say hi to nobody, and then when the opportunity comes, you use what you know as if you don't know anything else, or as if you don't really understand what's going on, to try to weasel your way in, like that kind of stuff. So anyway, so yeah, I had started cooking more. I had started to make really good money on my my maid service, because it takes a second to pick up being someone's house keeper. Like, it takes a second. And then building rapport, doing all these things, and then I was doing Uber on the side, all this stuff. And so when I had been approached by the person about the Bitcoin, because I kept saying, I'm gonna be good regardless. Like, internally, I'm gonna be good regardless. It doesn't matter. I if it's just me and me getting help with my family, if it's just me getting help with the state, if it, like, it's gonna work out. I had resolved that. Like, the last 2 years before, I was afraid to be alone, because one, my daughter needs a father. That's just period. Who doesn't need a dad? And then two, me being able to do all of this on my own, mind you, just had a baby. My physical, like, I'm still not 100. Like, I wasn't even close to 100 back then. Like, it just, my confidence was just, okay, Shintia, you need to revamp the fact that you don't think you got this, and say F it and have it. And it was working out. And it wasn't until not him not having money for me. The thing is that he's going to say that because I didn't accept the money that he had for rent, that's why I got kicked out. The reason I got kicked out is because the money I had for rent, I had tried to double like an idiot and invest it in Bitcoin, which, mind you, the person that I was working with, sorry, anyone named Lisa, that's not this lady. Lisa decided that the company that was going to help me get my Bitcoin, she kept showing me how much Bitcoin I won. I don't fucking know Bitcoin. We were working through Cash App. So I'm sending you money through Cash App, or I'm sorry, I'm buying Cash App, I'm buying Bitcoin on Cash App. I'm sending you the evidence that I bought the Bitcoin on Cash App. Somehow, some way, the Bitcoin that I bought on Cash App is getting sent to you. Mine just was like a year and some change. I don't remember everything. But what I do know is when I sent the money to, or the Bitcoin to you, somehow it was supposed to go through whatever processing, and I was supposed to receive it via paying a certain fee to get it back. So that's what I was told. And you have this Facebook page full of all these testimonials. You have all of these Better Business Bureau. I'm not saying that they were on the Better Business Bureau, but like, it was like a very like Bitcoin company. Like, it wasn't like a big specific name. So I'm thinking, like, and mind you, before I even talked to this person, I didn't even know that Bitcoin had ATMs in random stores where you can convert money. Like, I didn't know any of this. So for me, I was like, oh no, I'm being scammed. But I also know I don't know enough to be like, you're a scam artist. So with the premise that I may or may not be talking to this person. I may or may not. Let's be real. That shit was coincidental at the least. Okay. So I was like, nah, I definitely deserve something for the fact that I've been out here hyping this person up as a fan, trying to tell you how to be a better fucking artist from the fans' perspective, because I don't care about money. I don't care about what you're talking about as far as like global leadership as an artist. You're a fucking artist. You shouldn't have global leadership power. I'm literally saying, as a fan, if I go to a concert, this is what I want to see. As a fan, if I'm listening to music, this is what I want to see. As a fan, if I'm critiquing the artist I like, this is what I'm looking at. Like, that's the type of conversations I have. So for me, it's crazy to me because every time I got to the point where they're like, yeah, this is all you have to do to get to this point. That's why I was just frustrated. Like, it doesn't matter if it's right or wrong. I mean, if it's true or not true that I'm talking to this person. What matters is I'm giving my full faith to this. I was like, God, this ain't real. Why am I still doing this? Like, that's where I was at. But the reality was I had to go through all my options. I had to go talk to my grandma and find out I couldn't work with her. I had to go talk to this nigga that I thought was the father of my child and find out that he had no intention of making sure I'm set. All he wanted to do, oh, do you have a plan with the other dude that you want to talk to? Do you have a plan with him just because you're all in love? So you knew, mind you, told him I was in love with someone else. So you knew that was the whole point, and you keep trying to put me down. You wouldn't help. Not the way that, like, why are you here if you weren't helping in these specific ways? Oh, don't ask nobody else for that kind of help. Specifically told me, don't ask nobody else for that kind of help. Ask me first. And then acted like I was asking for too much. And then I realized I'll just do it myself. But by the time I got to that point, so I had the help of my friend who I had been doing side jobs with. She didn't co-sign for me, but she basically let them know that I had like enough work where I could afford the car, because I was doing multiple smaller jobs versus one like full-time job. And so I got a car and was able to do all these things, and he's shocked. And so I'm just like, see, all of this stuff about like, I don't know what I'm doing, I don't know what's going on, I don't know the way it's supposed to be. But the reality is, this is a systematic shutdown of my life. And now I'm realizing it because I'm no longer on anxiety medicine. And I don't know anything about trading stocks and stuff. Shit, nobody in my family for real knows that I talk to. So when I was trying to figure out, I wasn't talking to nobody about it. I was like, we'll just have to see. But the thing about it, where I was okay with losing all my money and just like getting out of the apartment, I don't need to be in this fucking apartment anyway. I'm only in this apartment because of this man. So if I lose this apartment, oh well. Him bitching at me about losing the apartment, having to live with my mom for a month or two, oh well. What pisses me off is he ignores the fact that that apartment was that. Everybody's like, why are you moving so far away? Is it because you're trying to stay next to him? Why are you so far away? Blah, blah, blah. It was cheap. It was in the ghetto. It was easy to get in to that apartment. I needed a place to stay. Why are you going around trying to survive and doing it the hard way? Because I'm not trying to be a prostitute in my own house. I don't want to give this man what he wants with no love from me. I didn't give it out of love. I gave it out of obligation, let alone fear. And then I get something, hopefully, that's up to what I need. Not even what I want, what I need. How many times have you been asking someone for help and they gave you a fucking piece of candy? And to be clear, I didn't lose that apartment. It was a month to month, and I had left at the end of the month. This is random, but I wonder why people gotta wait till you throw up for them to believe that that thing wasn't really good for you. Like, oh, I don't feel comfortable, or I feel unsafe, or I feel nauseous. Oh, you're just overthinking, you're just worried, you're just doing too much. But then I throw up and it's like, oh, they were serious. Like, this is a terrible example, but I just feel like my brother was such a picky eater growing up, like such a picky eater. And when just a terrible little sister I was, when I'll say that only because I just didn't help. When he wanted to, like, or when he felt like he was nauseous, I would make throw up sounds like bleh. And he's like, no, I'm going to throw up. And I'm like, no, you're not. And then he throw up. It's not funny. It's not. What I'm saying is, I knew then he was serious. Just want to take the time to give props that are due to, we all know, the real entertainment king, for really putting us on to, you either can do this dance or you can't. And, you know, to this day, people trying to prove that they can dance off of his moves alone. If I do this one move, I can really dance. Because TikTok, I know the dances were more complicated when TikTok first came out, but the point is that it's some niche dance. It's some weird little meaningful dance. And if you're good at it, then you go viral. Oh, they did the dance. Who started that before the internet? Shout out to him. That's all I'm saying. And then the fact that, like, to this day, low-key, the moves are going back to his. They went from super complicated and, like, girl, you about to, what is it, dislocate your finger doing that, to now, it's like, no. Structure. Some type of 8 count. Some type of consistency. And I just love it, because we all know that dancing is a very spiritual thing to do. Even in entertainment industry, like, it's energy harvesting. Like, it just is. And to have somebody be able to be as passionate, show who they are through those same dances. I think the funniest thing about it is that, like, the people that are most impacted by those dances are people that really have no essence of why they exist. I don't know. Is this how old people feel? They're sick of us. They are sick of us. Has anyone else ever been so dedicated to being a wingman, or like a member of the team, that they almost miss out on actually being with the person they're in love with, because they didn't know they were in love with them, because they were so distracted by being supportive to everybody else? No one else has ever wingman so hard that you didn't want to be romantic at all anymore to anybody with any type of niceness. And then when you meet the person that you actually love, you're like, I don't like you either. It's not good. Has anyone else felt like that? Man, because I sure did. And I was like, nah, fuck that, fuck this, fuck those. And 3/4, but you know. And guess who was right the whole time? And let me say this. Everyone that keeps thinking that I only wanted the dude that I thought was my baby daddy to be my baby daddy because somehow he was the money choice because he had a car. He was also homeless with a car. Like, so, and the thing is like, did he have that car when I met him? No. He also had a wife when I met him. Like, think about all these things where it's just like, you think it's the perfect scenario to be with a dude that is emotionally unavailable, sexually stunted, doesn't have any family that are in the age group that can relate to you, because he's the youngest by 18 years of everyone in his family. And when it comes to making plans and decisions, he's the first one to say yes and the first person to say, I shouldn't have said yes afterwards. I think the most frustrating thing for me is, what's the point of having friends if you can't vet other people with those friends around? Okay, so let me go back. Why is the person who I initially thought was my baby dad? Let's just go back. Let's just hypothetically say I knew this whole time that was what was going on. What was I gaining from him being there? Y'all think on like the level of like, oh, this man spent $5 on me every day so I can go get lunch at work, which is a discount because $5 is not cheap. I mean, it's cheap for some lunch. While I was pregnant because I needed some extra funds. That's spoiling me. Me losing my job, needing help with some bills because I was trying to figure out between keeping this job, paying for stuff on my car, paying this man back of a suspension system that he's paying $50 a month. Mind you, I didn't ask him to pay $50 a month on that suspension plan. I asked him at the very most, please co-sign. I've never asked anyone to co-sign, but I needed my car for work. So I asked them. See, the problem is that the suspension was really bad, but the catalytic converter was also bad. So the same amount of money that he had put into the suspension, okay, let's just say hypothetically, like, don't ever complain. You had a bad suspension. He helped pay for it. He's paying for the $50 a month without telling you. I'm not over here like, oh my God, he saved my life. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed that I forgot I had a bill that was $50 a month because he's never mentioned it. They don't call because he pays it before they have to call me. So when I was like one day randomly like, oh my God, that bill, I asked him because I thought it was going to be way more than what it was because I had been missing it. Oh, I've been paying it. Oh, thanks. $50 a month for a car thing. And then spent $3,000 after I asked for help with the car. He thought, oh no, I'm just going to go get a hoopty. You'll be better with that. Has no idea about cars. Doesn't know about transmission. I'm sure he's heard of a timing belt. Do you know these new ones don't have them? Do you know that there's a ability to register something else on the dashboard and it not be accurate to what the fuse is actually trying to tell you? Do you know anything? So my thing was, this is why I asked that. You bought a car that needed its catalytic converter replaced to help me drive around with my car being messed up from the catalytic converter it needed replaced. This is what I'm talking about. And then you complain that you spent too much money already. You wanted to resell the catalytic converter broken car. If we had any real conversation, you would understand that makes no sense. This is proof to me that you don't talk to nobody about nothing. You just make decisions. Even if we're not together, this is about your daughter going to daycare safely. This is about me getting to and from work to afford my things so that I don't have to ask you for money. You don't think things through. Like, is it me wanting him to pay for my life, wanting to have an easy way through motherhood, wanting to do all these things and not commit to marriage, not commit to relationship, No. And I think that's the thing. You see this blueprint of how things are supposed to go, and then you see the reality of how people's situations happen, and then you say, you did all these things to make sure that you didn't do it properly. You're too lazy. You're too this, you're too that. Sometimes you still have to shit, even if you didn't plan for it. So for me to have to explain constantly to him and whoever else don't understand that just because he's 6'4" and has a BMW small SUV and has a job just recently that he can afford the stuff he's been affording, mind you, not because he's not capable of getting a job like that, but because he finally found a reason, not his other kids, not his ex-wife, not his other baby mama, a reason to try to make himself look better. Oh, it's because he wanted to do right by your daughter. He wanted to own my fucking daughter, bro. Who wants to get on top of the person that they think is the mother of their child and show their child, who's an infant, what it is like to dominate their mother? If that's a regular thing to you, then you need some help too. Bottom line, period. As soon as I realized I was actually pregnant, when it hit my brain that shit that I was feeling in my body wasn't just me being emotional, I had a realization. This man is no good. And there's nothing I can do to make it. I can only go off of his words because I don't know this person. And every time someone asks me about him as if I'm supposed to know him so well, and I say that I don't, they don't believe me. See, there's this air of assumption going on here that I think he has down pat. Like, that's what you're good at, bro. Assumptions. Oh, what's understood doesn't need to be said. That's where you get the assumptions. That's where the room comes in. Because why is it that everybody in your family is assuming we're together and we're a family? Why? Because your sister bought clothes for us to match to go to this fucking wedding. When the reality is, I was told this was to meet your side of the family. Come to find out, it's for you to soft launch me into the rich side of your family to try to see if I fit in. So again, I want whose money? The family he don't talk to, that he ain't seen in 10, 15 years. He's only here because my daughter is something to show off. But everybody, okay, I took a video of them together. Because you know what? I want to have some good memories. I'm trying. And obviously, I'm not fucking good at it. But for me to have some pictures, for me to sit there and talk positively about Black people getting married, for me to sit here and be positive about the fact that we're trying to establish relationship, because at the end of the day, I need to be solid on what I am to you so that when I move forward, I'm not confused. When my daughter goes on and gets older, she's not confused. That's what all this is about. Get rid of the confusion. My dad said it best. Put it all on the table. That's the only way you're going to go forward best. You ever been on a date and you don't want this person to expect anything from you, so you're just like, I'm not going to let you pay for anything of mine? Like, just as a precaution to like any confusion later. I feel like when I ask for anything, then it's obligated that I do something. And, you know, I think it's a confusion of like laziness. Like, oh, you want to ask for stuff about equal trade. No, bartering, favor for favor, that's normal. What I'm saying is romantic involvement is a power dynamic that is assumed. And unless I establish boundaries in a power dynamic, because I'm off top, there's no way that your income and how you feel about what you're doing with your life doesn't impact how you feel about me being in your life. So, you know, I'm a girl. I like to be the woman in the relationship. So when it comes to submitting, everybody has a different definition of it. And for me, a lot of men feel bitter about any type of contribution they do for you, unless they get something out of it, like directly. And I don't want that kind of a guy. I don't want that kind of a friendship. I don't want that kind of a relationship with anybody around me. And I just feel like I let myself get to a place where I had to, and this is what's come of it. My thing about being like romantically involved in a relationship or not being romantically involved in a relationship is, in the day and age we're in, like if someone moves in with you and helps pay rent, helps pay bills, that's just survival. That's just like strictly we would recognize that we're adults and need to have stability. So if I ever was like, let's move in together, or let's, you know, help each other pay bills, or like let's consolidate gas, whatever it is, like that's the purpose behind that. The part of asking for help just because, like being pregnant and needing some money for lunch every day, I wasn't comfortable doing that. It might sound stupid because it's $5. Oh, but it's his $5 and you're trying to take my money. Like, it doesn't matter. Either way you go about it, it's uncomfortable. But I needed it, so I asked. Could have said no. And the thing about it is, I know that's harder to say no in that time frame, but it would establish the boundary of, I'm not helping you even if something as small as food. Because that's what it was going forward. He wants to say, oh, I had enough money to help spend for gifts, for travel, for this and that. But it was always in the obligation of, I'm going to now see him as more than the father of my child. Not, oh, because your child and my child are the same child, and she needs to succeed. That was never the reason. So, asking him for money did not go back to before I was pregnant. It did not go back to before I lost my apartment. It didn't go back to before I got kicked out and asked him for help. I had never asked him for money, and the only reason I asked him for help is because I thought that my child was his. It's literally the simplest of it. As far as I'm concerned, when it comes to that man, I could never talk to him again. The only reason he's like, oh, you played me, is because of the money that he decided to spend, which he's never invested in any other part of his life before. And so he's mad about it. He thought he could get his lick back by, it's a combination of giving his ex-wife like a disease and then trying to accuse me of being the reason she got it, and then guilt tripping me, and then trying to like downplay my ability to be independent and like work on me as a mother and all this stuff without his help. Like, I think I set myself up for him to be like, yes, that's exactly what's wrong with you. And that's why once I got off the sertraline, I was like, you see how thin? Like, this is how much has grown out since I cut my locks, or what do you call it? Like, combed them out. That's what I'm trying to say. This is the thickest part. I want to cut it right here, but I'm not trying to like be impatient. I'm just gonna wait. But anyway, yeah, so the biggest thing that I feel about him is, besides the fact that I don't ever want to see him again or like talk to him again or like deal with him again, I don't like a liar. Like, the last time I talked to you, I had a conversation about something that I thought was straight up like, this is how I have been taking it, and I don't understand what the confusion is, to, oh, you just got exposed for never believing me, and now you're trying to justify that I always knew that I was a liar and that you just caught me. But really, it's just you're trying to catch me. Like, you're trying to find a reason so that you don't have to be like, I cheated on my ex-wife multiple times, got her sick, and now this one person who I don't really believe that I had her kid, because she clearly is a hoe, but she looks like a good lick because look at her family, because look at how she moves, look at blah, 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 blah. So it's like, as much as he's accusing me of trying to be on him, the thing that he said before I ever realized I was pregnant or anything was like, mind you, this man is like 38 when I met him, and I was like 28, 29. No, I was 27 when I met this man. He was like, 38, 27, yeah. He was like, yeah, you seem like you are going to get it together and be more successful, like, before I am. What does that mean? You're almost 40. You're talking about me and just my daily life, like, being more sick. Not so much that you're, like, complimenting me. You know what I mean? Like, you're not saying, like, wow, you're doing the things to put in the work to get to where you want to go. It's literally like, you're going to do this before I am. And I'm just like, that's a weird statement. I've never heard someone tell me that. Like, what am I supposed to take it as? Especially because you are 11 years older than me. So for me, like, when I realized I was pregnant, I kind of like sat down and like took it all in. That really like resonated in me. It's like, I'm gonna be working like a fucking dog while this man complains about how he can't lift his fingers up. Like, I remembered all the things his ex has said about him. Oh, he's this, he's that, he's this and that. And part of the remembering was like, besides him being crazy and trying to break into her house and break into her car and do all this stupid shit, it's like the way that he doesn't make sense when he's mad. The way that he's just like, I'm going to do this. And it's just like, I remember one time he came back from work. I say came back from work. He came to visit after work. And he was like, yeah, you know what? Let me clarify something. He slept on my couch. As much as he's complaining about paying for any of my bills, I let him sleep on the couch for weeks because he didn't want to invest in a place for himself. So all that money he's complaining about is not because I just needed it. It was a combination of, this works out for both of us. And the reason I didn't accept the money the last time around was because I kicked him out. Like, you're not even on the lease. You're getting on my last nerve. You're intrusive in everything I'm doing. And at this point, I don't even think you're really putting in the effort for my daughter. You're leaving. That's really what happened. I wasn't gonna say it because, you know, I'm on like, I'm the only one on the lease. You can't have the official rules, or you can't have people here more than 2 weeks at a time. But I was like, well, if he's contributing to the bills, they shouldn't complain. The bills are paid. I've been doing all this stuff. Like, I haven't broken any rules. The least I can do is have him sleep on the couch. Did he ever live with me? If you call crashing on the couch living with you, sure. But majority of the time he wasn't there. So the fact that, like, okay, let's say like this. If he was there, crashed on the couch for 2 months, he tried to get it in, successful. We've had, since I've had my baby, maybe 3 times have I had sex with that man. And each time has been terrible. Each time has made me more and more hate him. I don't even want to tell you why. Like, it's very specifics. But, yeah, I can't. And that was just me trying to recover from having my baby and, like, transitioning jobs and stuff. It wasn't even, like, anything serious. And the times where he wasn't sleeping on the couch, but I still had him, like, let's say I needed some money, I would cook him food because that's all I had to offer. You feel me? Oh, so you cooking for you romantically. Nigga, I'm cooking for you because you ain't getting nothing else. And I know everybody's like, oh, cooking is like your thing and it's so like personal and it's like a family. Cooking for me is I have to eat. If I was able to afford quality food where I didn't have to cook it every day, I would. But you know what? My stepmom is really good about making things that are just basic taste good. So why can't I figure it out? And I've been around enough people and at enough houses to be like, huh, you know what? I need to learn that. So my thing is like this. Okay, if I were to give you a day in the life, I would be out with my daughter, whether we go to the store, the park, we I take her to daycare and spend the day doing whatever. Let's just say, if I were to give an example of like the exact kind of situation, this was before I got the other car. So it was a couple months like before I was able to drive around or like have like reliable transportation. So I had thought about going back to the airport job too, but I didn't do it. But anyway, I had started taking baby. No, okay, maybe I would work with my friend that day, or maybe I would go to my mom's or help her somewhere at her house, or just something where it's like, oh, where am I going? What I'm doing is productive that day, whatever I'm doing, you know? And by the end of the day, he'd be like, hey, I'm gonna come, I'm on the way, whatever. Okay, so you come to the house, and then the first thing you want to do is smoke, which I don't care so much, but I watch you. Like, you made a point to cuss me out when I tried to blow some smoke in the dog's face. Yes, I did, dog owners, because I've experienced a dog that very much enjoys smoke and will eat your weed if they get a chance. Like, when I say enjoy smoke, I mean like, you won't leave the room, you'll get in the middle of the circle and try to have your face all up in the food, or the so I'm like, you know, dogs can handle a little bit of smoke. He's like, no, he's a puppy. You know, you wouldn't want that to your child. Why would you do that to a dog? I'm like, dang, that's a good point. Okay, all right. Now I'm watching you. And what do? But blow the smoke in in the baby's face. Not even looking. Like you know that she's right there. You know you're doing it. You're just not making the eye contact to acknowledge it. What is that? Or you might live close. So when you want to take a break, you come by, you're like, hey, I'm gonna come by, I'm gonna smoke, and I'm gonna go back to work. Okay, but when you come by, you're mad that you gotta go smoke somewhere, maybe the other room, or like, this is how it goes. If baby girl was not asleep because she takes naps late, she wakes up late, all these things, if she wasn't asleep, she wasn't asleep. And part of that is, I was like, well, let me go in the bedroom so you can smoke. so that the smoke doesn't bother her. Her toys are in there anyway. It's not a big deal. He what is that? Oh, it's a sticker. He would get mad that one, she's not already asleep, and then two, that I'm complaining about him smoking in the living room with her in the room. And he's like, you do it all day. I'm like, but there's a way to do things where it's like, it's still not the best thing I could be doing, but it's way better than just not giving a fucking blowing in her face. So if I have the fan on, the air filter on, and I'm making a point to stay away from her because I'm in the kitchen cooking, so it's easier to smoke because there's all this air going on. But you come in the living room, you sit on the couch next to where she's playing, and you just roll up and smoke. Like, explain that to me. Why I wouldn't be like, hey, could you not do that? So, the comparison is crazy. Like the lady trying to say that I smoke with my baby in the car. If I ever smoked with her in the car, it was with all the windows down. And mind you, am I on the freeway smoking, or am I sitting down smoking in the car with my baby, like hotboxing it? And the thing is that bothers me about that is 90% of the time my baby was in the car, I'm standing outside the car smoking. 90% of the time. I'll say this, just to be 100% clear about this smoking bullshit. When he was still in the motel that he was in, and I was visiting him with the baby, she was like a week or two old, he would smoke. We would smoke, because I was like, that's the only thing that we really get along doing is smoking. But the motel room would be like, this is where it's like, I had the moment, like, we're fucking up. This is the thing. When she was first born, she never cried. She never cried. So you didn't think anything was wrong with her because she's looking like she's asleep. She might wake up for milk, and even then she wasn't crying. So we leave one of the days, maybe like the second day that I was at the motel with him. And when I say with him, I mean I'm giving you time to spend with your daughter. I'm over here sleeping because I'm exhausted. Like, there's nothing happening. And I realized when we left the room, because the room was always dark, that she looked a little pale. And I was like, holy fucking shit, she's dying. So I took her to the emergency room. The emergency room showed, they take your vitals. Her vitals were fine. Her lips looked a little blue to me. So I was like, oh God, that can't happen no more. Like, that's crazy. And so I called him before I went to the hospital. I was like, she has blue lips. I think it's because we were smoking. Like, it's a terrible thing that we did. Like, blah, blah, blah. And he's just like, well, you're a good mom. Like, all that serenading shit. You're a good mom for doing that and blah, 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 blah. Not acknowledging that he's like, oh, shit. Like, I contributed to her being potentially harmed. Thankfully, nothing was wrong with her. We sat in that emergency room for 10 hours and no one checked on us. Like, they just kept taking her vitals. But, like, my reason for leaving the emergency room that day was because I know how emergency rooms work. 10 hours, she's not an emergency. She hasn't shown any anaphylaxis. She hasn't shown anything. But for me, why I left where I was okay was because her lips had turned pink again. They weren't blue anymore. And the thing that was funny, because we were at the children's emergency room, she heard so much crying that's where she learned how to cry. So she started crying that day at the hospital because she heard other kids crying. And when I tell you her cry, she was only like 6 pounds at this point, because only a week or two old. She was the loudest kid in there. Like, she just can she like she can do what she want to do. So that like was another thing where it was like, okay, you're all right. It went from me being like, she can't breathe, she's dying, to okay, she just needed some like circulated air for a second, I think is what it is. And now she's crying, and the strength of her lungs is coming in. Like, it just, everything went together in the middle of the chaos. And that's where I'm just like, I'll never forget that time. So when I'm watching you at my house and I'm saying, hey, let's make this little bit of effort, it's not a big deal, but like make it a big deal so that it doesn't have to be a problem. You're the one that's sitting there like, oh, here you go, because you want to control your own house. This is the same man that would go in my fridge and throw stuff away because he thought that it needed to be thrown away when I just cooked it. Sneaking suspicion.